I fell away, not fast, floated, momentary mention and accord with the wind, day after day of the dead, the same as day before day of the dead. No surprise, I fell away, muttering, knew no one would hear, not even me. We wore capes under which we were in sweaters out at the elbow. Arms on the table, we chewed our spoons. Mouthing the blues, moaned an abstract truth, kept eating. The dead's morning after buffet, someone said it was. Feast of the unfed, said someone else. What were we doing there? The exegete kept asking. Adamant, uninvited, morose. Elbows in the air like wings, we kept eating, rolled our eyes, kept shoveling it in. Day after day of the dead, we were them. We ate inexhaustibly, ate what wasn't there. Dead no longer dying of thirst, hung over, turned our noses up to what was. It was me. We were it, insensate. Sugared sweat, what we drank tasted like. Even so, the tips of our tongues tasted nothing. We sipped without wincing. We ate cakes. We ate fingernail soup, a new kind of gazpacho. No one willing to say what soul was. Knucklebone souffle we ate. We ate gristle. Eyes we took from flies flying backward, a kind of caviar. None of us wanting to say what soul was. And the poem I'll end with is Song of the Ondumbulu 79. And it begins with an epigraph. It's from Max Muller from the book Introduction to the Science of Religion. Mythology is inevitable. It is natural. It is an inherent necessity of language. It is, in fact, the dark shadow which language throws upon thought, and which can never disappear till language becomes entirely commensurate with thought, which it never will. What there was is jump, what could be said's long shadow, a story the story bit its lip on. It wasn't that what there was what could be thought, wasn't what could be thought was what would be said. Thought was what there was is fallback, say, so we thought, the same. It wasn't religion we were feeling, we were lay. Unlay's day had come and gone. What we felt could have been said to be myth, but we said ism. First would be last, we thought. Science, we'd have said, were it not say's way not to know unlay. Nonce, non-embrace, lay stood in whose way. Lean of limb we'd have been, could we be said to have had limbs. Abstract intaglio, the press of spun straw. Soul's in satiety, we'd have said. Rain met us where we came to next, mist more than rain. Light ricocheted inside it. Infinite crystal it would have been, were it not for blur, had blur not befriended us. Time-lapse amalgam we intuited more than saw, isthmic onset or address. Coastal fog we were told would catch fire, no matter we'd gone far from lone coast. Blur so benign where we were was known as prospect. Mist, we heard it said, the sun would explode. Coast had come to be code for orbit. Fog, planetary debris. Cosmic shade it all gathered. Lay followed lie, followed low, followed lay. Unlay's tonic, dispatch. We were thinking what could be said, wondering what could be thought. Lag snapped its tail in between. Sibling spin, what could be said, not only what we saw, blanket of stars farther out. No sooner did we think than what we thought faded, wordless what we thought we saw. A new member known as Huff joined our group. Strange brother, he was known as by some. Windgust his game, his name told us. branch blown off, broken bough. Huff pointed into the blur, claimed he'd come from it, only blue smoke, we thought. Blur blessed us, it seemed. No way could we make out one another, one thing from another. We were back before we were, back before anything was. Blur was all there was. Nothing was. Huff got into our heads. Blur made us blink. Soul a certain bareness, we thought. We were back to before soul sought body. Ass cleft in curvature, yet to entice. Huff made it seem that way. In Huff's domain, we saw waves come in. Swells and emotional debit. Lights, dilated slide. Symphonic sway, more feeling than any of us could have said we felt. In Huff's domain, curled around one ear, caught on one's ear. Huff wore wingtips, argyle socks. He had a way of dancing, standing still. Cushion-footed, cloud-footed, postured, posed, moved only ever so much. Breath up ahead or in back of us. Were we dead or yet to be born, we couldn't say. Blur but bound in vaglement, blur before anything was. Huff had a way of having it both ways. It wasn't that Huff had wings on his feet. Wingtips were a type of shoe. Huff's way had it both ways, and we were breathless. Huff, we wanted to say, took our breath away. Not without breath we'd have been had we said it. Say's way would have it both ways. Anabatic scat was what it was, the underside rising. Soon come council of souls in absentia, no known auspice left. As a child, his first words had been other side. Some inkling even then he'd come from elsewhere, insistent even then he'd eventually return. Mist on one side, mist on the other, a thin line in between. Mist on either side, a misty line between. Sight bled, blur ran through it all. That there was a book we'd eventually be in. Yes, we knew. We'd heard it before. We nodded our heads. Yes, we said, we knew it would come. Huff had something to say, too much to say. Went on about it, wouldn't let go. In the upper stacks, one found a book entitled My Friend Huff. In the lower precinct, the upper stacks lay adjacent to, not to be confused with lip smear, but was. Blur the apostates misconstrued. Strange brothers bequest, one heard them whispering. Fraught lips not to be believed, misleading them. Wish pervading drapes, carpets, dust. Blur blended with lamplight, dust motes opening the book let loose. Motes the open book drew back from. Thank you.